The rate at which teenage pregnancy continues to escalate in certain parts of the nation gives the people, all who are watching and seeing these things happening, a reason for alarm. In the past, much education was made to make young girls aware of the dangers they were likely to fall in when they engaged in premarital sex. While 80% of those who were involved in teenage pregnancy were those who entered into it due to peer pressure and their own negligence, 20% were those who were forced and those who had no control of the situations in which they were in, like those ladies who are betrothed to marry older ones and those lady girls who are given as slaves to fetish priests in certain areas of the nation. Today, though a majority of all those cases has come down, we still see teenage pregnancy happening in some parts of the country, especially in the rural areas. Some research which was done before showed that entertainment was part of the reason why some girls were allowing themselves to be fondled and played with, and this led to teenage pregnancy. According to this research, these girls who were bored of seeing the same old things and were not getting the types of entertainment that was found in the cities decided to allow themselves to engage in premarital sex to give them a little stimulation and a little vibe and to take their boredom away from their lives. There are some places where the ladies and these young girls don't see anything wrong with teenage pregnancy. Some ladies give us the view that as long as they were old enough to have sex, they were old enough to give birth, and there was nothing wrong with teenage pregnancy. They explained that every woman is different, while some are matured enough at an early age, others take a while for them to mature. But is this true? Because when you look at the rampant rate at which girls are being impregnated here and there, it sometimes seems to be like it's a matter of people wanting to feed on their fleshy lust. But what are the causes? Apart from the fact that these ladies consent to it, there have also been speculations that the types of movies which are shown on air contribute to a major part of this teenage pregnancy. When you watch some telenovelas and some movies that are aired on the television, you would see that there's a part of them which has a lot of erotic scenes in them, whilst there are some which involve allowable erotic scenes like just kissing. There are some which include some deep stuff. Now, it looks like it's the norm. Back in our day, for those who are old and very old, we were not even allowed to watch certain movies, not to even talk of watching the erotic parts. And if by chance we got lucky and were permitted to watch such movies in the same room with our parents, anytime anything erotic was about to be aired, we would either leave or they would sack us, and in some situations we'll be asked to cover or close our eyes. But in these modern days, people watch kissing scenes and touching scenes and fondling scenes, scenes that involve body parts shown, scenes that involve people making out and making love, and the parents and the children are in the same room watching it, and no one is feeling uncomfortable about it. Back in our day, There was a very strong heaviness in our spirits and in our countenances anytime such things were being shown. For those of us who were brought up by strict parents, we already knew that was a cue for you to get up and leave and wait for 5 minutes until you perceive that these erotic scenes were over. But for others, especially some in this day, that is not a problem at all. You would rather see and hear the children making comments like, "Ooh, nice," or comments like, "Obeyano, obekisino, omukisi." Just things that show that they are excited about these things that are being shown. But what are we doing as a nation, and where are we heading to? If we are not able to censor some of these graphic things that are being shown on air, these are some of the things that these little ladies and little boys watch, and it gives them the stimulation to try it also. When young girls fall into the hands of the wrong people, they are persuaded into going on bed and doing the same things they watch. Well, this is one of the reasons. Another reason we have to speak about is the lack of love at home. Research has shown that most girls move away from homes to get love and warmth in the hands of strangers and of people who show care because their families, especially their immediate parents, do not give them the type of love and care they desire. Speaking to one of the girls who was a victim of teenage pregnancy, she told us how it started. According to her, her parents were mostly abusive in the house, and by the slightest mistake, she was caned, lashed, or reprimanded. There were times where she heard very nasty words from her own mother, which felt degrading because she was called names, especially when she was made to hear that she was good for nothing. Now, this girl happened to meet one guy who was very fond of her and continued to mention how beautiful she was. At first, she thought it was just one of those things. But later, as the man continued to pour out love, admiring her, telling her that she was good, she was beautiful, she was talented, she was like the bright morning star, and all these poetic words these men use on these ladies, she began to feel loved, and there was just this sense of belongingness that she felt, which got her closer to the man. Eventually, her closeness to the man brought him closer into her pants, and things happened, and before they could say Jack, she was pregnant. Now that she was pregnant, she knew that she had to do something about it. She wasn't ready to have a child, but it was also against her morals to have an abortion. Now that she was in a dilemma about the choice to make, she didn't want her parents to even suspect that this had happened, because according to her, all along they thought she was still a virgin. But if only they knew the moves and the things and the positions she was doing when she was not at home. Well, this lady later decided to have the baby, and when she spoke to the man, he was not really interested in a child. But according to her, this man even allowed her to come stay in his house, telling her he would allow her to have the baby there and even live there for as long as she wanted to. When she went into the man's place, even in her pregnant state, they were still doing it. So one day, when she went out and came back, she found out that the man was nowhere, And according to the landlord, the man had moved. You see, all these problems start from a point. And if we are able to show our young girls some love at home, and by love I mean pure love, agape love, true love, not the type of love that involves inserting things into people. The true love, adoring our girls, not being too hard on them when they make mistakes, telling them nice things, telling them they are bright, they are beautiful. They wouldn't feel anything extraordinary when other people mention these same words to them, because they always hear it from the house. Let's move on then. Another girl who told us the reason why she was pregnant before 19 expressed her very, very deep grief about her pregnancy. According to her, she never intended to even have sex or even be pregnant in the first place. She always imagined that she was going to keep her virginity till she grew up and was able enough to be married. But when disaster struck at home and her dad left the world and her mom was not able to provide for them, she was forced to sell herself to make some money. According to her, she didn't go to the streets like the other prostitutes do, but she had to stay with certain boys who had made some amount of money through some dubious means and through some internet scams, just so she could take care of herself. She also explained that she tried businesses on her own, but all of them collapsed, and no matter how hard she tried to do things right, it was not working. It looked like the only way to make money was to open her legs. Obviously, after opening your legs, what is going to happen next will be pregnancy. And definitely it did. So these are some of the reasons why these ladies allow themselves to be victims of teenage pregnancy. Now, before we even go ahead to mention more reasons why these ladies become victims of such, there's one thing that seems strange to us, that upon all the family planning methods and all the ways which are known to prevent pregnancies, these ladies don't seem to bother about them. It is like they just imagine if they go to bed, they'll be lucky and they'll not be pregnant. What happened to condoms? What happened to contraceptives? What happened to all these things that we hear and see in our pharmacies and in our books? Is it that they are not allowed to get them, or they just don't believe in the potency of them? I mean, there might be some cases where some contraceptives may not be 100%, but there are many ladies and young girls who don't even try using them. Now, teenage pregnancy in the nation is causing a stress, because some of these ladies have futures that are being destroyed after they have these babies. They are not able to concentrate on themselves anymore, and they focus all their energies on the little children. These are the ways that the ladies are not allowed to explore the bright future that was ahead of them. You should know that some of these ladies are those who are supposed to be presidents, ministers of parliament. These are some of those who are supposed to be leading countries and steering the nation in ways and places that only them have been given the mandate and the vision to. But if we don't watch the way we are allowing them to be lost to teenage pregnancy and spoil their destinies just like that, we may be killing ourselves as a nation. Remember, a lady or a woman or a girl is not just one person. A lady is seen to be more valuable than a man when it comes to the fact that she can carry more than one person. Remember, a woman is the same as the value of our nation. Let us do well to look at the preventive methods to stop teenage pregnancies and to go on as a nation. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.